Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna talk about business income versus passive income. Business income is basically income that's generated through activity within a business. So being it selling on Amazon, like an e-commerce business, be it door-to-door sales, any type of business that you can actually have where you're actually actively putting in effort. So like the saying, the more you put in, the more you get out. So the more active you are, the more effort you put in, the harder you work, the better the results will be once you've carved a path to success. So basically, once you get your business to start working, another really simple example is listing products on Amazon. Once some of those products start to sell, if you just stop working and don't putting any more activity and any more effort, you're only going to be able to sell the products you're already selling. Let's say you only have 10 products listed, so you're only selling 10 products. And let's say you're making $20 or $30 a day. If you were to scale that by 10 times, so putting in 10 times the work over the next 6 to 12 months, putting in more effort in building the business bigger through activity, active income. So business income is also defined as active income because you have to be active within the business to generate the revenue or the income. Now, some things over time become a little bit passive. So like listing products on Amazon, some of them start to sell regularly. You don't have to put in the effort to get every individual sale. You only have to put in the effort the initial listing of the product and getting the product to sell in the first place, and the additional sales that come in later on are a little bit passive because, like I said, you don't have to put in individual effort for each sale. But placing every single order, doing any customer service or returns related to any specific order on Amazon when you're not doing Amazon FBA, so when you're fulfilling your own orders, doing your own customer service, that's a lot of active stuff that you have to do to fulfill income with generated through a business. Active business being active. So one cool thing about business income is a lot of the times, like almost 100% of the time, I don't really know any business that you can't make at least 75% to 90% passive. So like being the owner of a company and eventually, like let's take Amazon for example. Number one, being able to make an Amazon business passive is paying for a done-for-you service, like the done-for-you automation services that we provide. Separate from that, hiring virtual assistants or employees and using software to fulfill the tasks that you normally have to fill yourself, that can take a business and make it more passive. So the revenues that you're getting specifically are on the passive side because you're not doing anything to get that income, but there is still activity that's constantly going on for the business to be able to continue to generate that income, right? So business income will always be active income, but the form of which you get paid, you can make it passive for yourself. And that should be the goal with every business you ever have. You should always want to be able to take at least a half a step back, because for you to be able to scale a business beyond every barrier or milestone, you need to leverage. Leverage through using software, using other people's time, money, skills, resources, things that you might not have yourself. Rather, you don't have enough time to allocate. Imagine you don't have enough knowledge or education. You don't have enough resources. You don't have enough money. Whatever it is, you need to be able to leverage to build that business further, right? That is the definition of business income, and that is literally how a business works. Now, obviously, within every industry, the minute details are going to be different. Like listing a product on Amazon, getting a product to sell is going to be different than how many door-to-door sales you have to do, or how many people you have to call, or clients you have to close over the phone for like a sales product or a service that you're selling, right? So everything is different. You always have to put in that activity, but you can leverage out and automate virtually any business in existence, especially nowadays with technology and the fact that almost every business has some sort of digital tie, no matter what way you look at it. Every business has to be digital in some sense, even if it's just it's a physical business, like a construction business. Not really a lot to do digitally for a construction business except marketing and advertising, right? Or having a social media page. So let's say you're running digital ads online on Facebook ads for your construction company for paving driveways. How are you supposed to get new clients if you're only using Stone Age methods? Now, word of mouth, once your business is bigger and you do a really good job and you provide good value and good quality, word of mouth can get you new clients. Putting up banner ads and flyers and stuff around your town or the neighboring cities, physical advertising like the old school offline methods, that can still get you new customers and clients. But eventually you're going to want to go digital. Normally you'd want to do that like right out of the gate, because when you think, hey, I need someone to pave my driveway, what's the first thing you do, or one of the first things you do? When you're ready to pay someone to pave your driveway and you do not know who to go to, the first thing that comes to my mind is Google. I'm going to go Google it. I'm going to go look for someone in my area that does this. I want a painter this week. I need someone to paint my room. I need a painter. Where am I going? Google, right? Some people go to Bing, or it's search engine, but it's still online. Some people go to the Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages you can now find online. So business activity, in the modern age, a lot of the stuff is going to have some sort of digital tie, and the better you get at that, or as long as you're willing to pay someone else to do it for you. Number one, if it's in the beginning of the business and you haven't generated any revenue yet, you're going to be investing and paying out of pocket for these things. You can also alternatively wait for the business to start turning profit based on your personal efforts only. And then down the road, use some of those profits to leverage out and pay other people to run your ads, to pay for ads in the first place, and all that kind of thing. Number two, passive income. So separate from taking a business and getting your revenue and income generated from that business passively by hiring and having other people / software do the work for you, right? Another form of truly genuine passive income is going to be through, having an automated Amazon business where you take zero part in it whatsoever, like hiring us to build an Amazon business for you. That's a passive income because 100% of the work is automated. You actually don't have to do anything. If it's the business you started yourself and you're the one hiring like virtual assistants and you're using the software, you have to set that software up. You have to manage your employees. You have to manage the team. You're still going to be working. But if you're paying for a done-for-you service, that's a form of passive income, but it is through active business activity. The most true form of passive income is going to be something like rental income through real estate. So once you get past that initial effort, the first effort, right, all you need to do to have a passive income is investing in whatever it is that you're investing in, getting past that initial effort, so setting up the Amazon store or purchasing, my video froze there for a sec, I don't know if you caught that, but purchasing real estate investments. So let's say you want to buy a house in somewhere in Canada, not Southern Ontario, because the home prices are almost $1 million. So let's say you find a triplex out east or out west, or somewhere in the United States where you can get homes for between $80,000 and $150,000, where rent is anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month. If you get a triplex, right, 3 units in one building. I don't normally do anything less than a triplex. Occasionally I'll do a duplex if the duplex is like a 1 or a 2 bedroom plus. So you can charge a substantial amount of rent, not like $600, $700, or $800 a month, more than that. Because if your mortgage is going to be $500 a month, right? After your initial investment, you're going to pay $400 or $500 a month to own the property. And you're only going to be able to make $500. I don't like to invest in a passive real estate investment unless I can turn at least $1,000 monthly profit after expenses on a single investment. So triplex or above, triplex, quadplex, or sixplex, or an apartment building if you can afford it, or eventually work your way up to it. The reason that rental income is so passive is because once you get past that initial hurdle or that initial step of purchasing the investment, you've done your due diligence, you know that the occupancy rate's like above 95%, so the units are almost occupied at all times, so you're never really going to incur very many losses. It's a relatively newer building. It's not an old pile of crap that needs a ton of work. So over the first 2 years, you're trying to get your investment back, but you're sitting there spending money on a new furnace, a new AC unit, rotting toilets and sewage systems, like all this stuff. So you can go on and on forever of how much stuff you can get into with real estate. But the definition of a passive income through real estate specifically, passive income through rental income. So let's say it costs you $500 a month for the mortgage on a $120,000 building that has 3 units. All 3 units, let's say they all rent for $900 a month. Once you purchase that property, and if you have property with pre-existing tenants that are already in existing contracts for like the next year, 2 years, right? They're going to be renting. So by the time you set up those payments to hit your bank account or your corporate bank account, and you have that investment, you now have that passive income. Next thing you want to do is hire a property manager so you don't have to, again, be active and put in the effort yourself of having to go and visit and collect payments and blah, 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 blah. You don't want to have to do that stuff. Now, it's okay to do that in the beginning if you're just starting out, because that way you can save money, you can have a higher profit margin if you're putting in the work yourself. But for me, I think time is a lot more valuable than money. So if it's going to cost me an extra couple $100 a month per unit to hire someone else, or spend 5 hours per week or 2 hours per week doing it myself to save that extra couple $100 a month, think about it by the time you have 10 buildings or 20 buildings. That 2 hours a week now becomes almost a full-time job when you have like 20 or 30 units. How are you supposed to do that yourself? And by then you should be able to afford the 8 to 10% that a property manager charges to do it all for you. That is a very, very true form of passive income, but you can find it in many different ways. Now, the one difference, and the difference in the benefits of a passive income. Obviously, the benefits of a passive income, you don't have to work and you're going to get an almost guaranteed income, obviously depending on a few different variables, depending on what you're investing in, etc. But the one large benefit and major difference between a business income and a passive income is when you take a business income and you make it passive. The good thing about business, now real estate is pretty predictable and reliable. So let's say it's a totally different investment that's passive, like staking a cryptocurrency. If it's a cryptocurrency that's brand new, you're taking a pretty high risk and there isn't really reliability there, right? You're hoping that there is. You're taking a pretty large calculated risk. If you have a business like selling on Amazon that's been around for over a decade, and you have made that business passive, so you've paid someone to build it for you like me, or you built it yourself and now you have virtual assistants, employees, and software building it all for you and they're doing 95% of the work. Now that's a passive income, but through business activity. The number one benefit to that is you're doing it, your income is generated from something that is very reliable and predictable, right? When you're working a business, you can see the numbers, you can see how it works, you can see your profit margins, you can see that the more you put in of this, the more XYZ you put in, the more time, the more effort, the more dedication, the more money you put into products on Amazon, for example. You'll have a predictable scale and a reliable scale of how much money you can generate over time because it's a business, because it's a proven business that's been around for, however long. That's the one good thing about a passive income that comes through business activity. So leveraging out a business. So business income, it's active income, right? Remember, there's two differences. Business income, you have to put in the work. Passive income, you only have to put in the first step. After that, the income is passive. You don't have to work for it anymore. Okay, you obviously want to maintain and watch your property managers and all these other things you might have to occasionally do. But generally, passive income, like through a rental real estate, you're not putting in a lot of work after the fact. With a business income that you can then turn passive, like I said, the good part about it is its ability to become very reliable and predictable for you, especially if you have experience with it or you're leveraging out to someone else who does. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned a lot. Any questions, make sure to drop them below, and I'll see you next time.